Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today, and today we'll be talking about Alice in Borderland Season 2. First off, appreciate those of you who be watching it, those one or two of you, I hope you enjoy it. Yes, so we're going to be talking about Season 2. Now, Season 2 of Alice in Borderland takes place right after the events of Season 1. And just a quick recap of Season 1, they were doing the games and every time they won a game, they would get a number card. And once they got all the number cards, they kind of moved on to the next level. So in Season 2, they're facing off against the face cards. And unlike Season 1 and Season 2, we actually get to meet the creators of the games of the face cards. Each face card is kind of like they have like a boss that they have to defeat in order to get the game and get the card and move on to the next game. I like this kind of dynamic of it because we got to actually see what the more of the characters who are creating these games, kind of like the motives, why they're doing this. So we got to explore more of like the evil mind, the evil people, And what we find out is that not all of these creators are evil, which kind of adds another dimension to those to the bad guys, I guess you can say. The first ones we meet is kind of like a band who is citizens of this world, we'll say. And so you get to see their motives, that they're not really that bad. They're all just sticking together, helping each other to survive. And this is when the questions start to pop up. If once they win all the games, do they get to go back? Does our characters get to go back to the real world, or do they have to stay in this fake world and kind of replace those who are creating the games? Do they take over this world? And so we start to get this question. What Season 2 does excellently is they answer all the questions that you might have, like how do they arrive in this new world or dimension? Why do you have to participate in these games? What exactly is going on? Season 2 answers all these questions for us. I do believe, like, game-wise, though, I like the games better than in Season 1 than I did in Season 2. They were more, I feel like they had more on the line. Well, I mean, when your life was on the line, but I feel like they were better thought out and just better games in Season 1 than in Season 2. There were a couple good games I liked in Season 2. Like the first game that we did get to see where they're facing off against the band. It's kind of like a mixture of tag and capture the flag. It was nice. And then the other good one is another tag game that they had. There's a lot of tag games in this one. You did have the one for the Jacket of Hearts where you kind of had to trust people and see if they were lying to you. And that's when there was like a collar around your neck. And then behind they had like the suit, that you have. So you had to guess whether you had like a clubs or a heart. And if you didn't guess that right, you lost your head. So that one was kind of good. I didn't really like the one that they focused on the most, which was the Jack of Spades game, which was just basically you had this lone guy and just going around. He had all these guns with him and just going down, just killing people. He was doing like mass murder, like crazy. He was kind of like your main villain in the series. You would think it was the Queen of Hearts, but it's mainly him. The one that you had to be the most afraid of was him. So he was the most challenging one. And his game arena was basically the whole city. That's definitely the game they focused the most on. And in a way, this show kind of reminded me of the newest Zelda one game, Breath of the Wild, where like the final boss was actually the easiest to beat. It's kind of like how this one is. Like the final game was probably the easiest game for them to beat. It had more to do with like the mind, and it's kind of like psychedelic type of stuff. But it was compared to the other games that they had to go through in this one, it was definitely the easiest. And also, I would say like unlike Season 1, Season 2 had less. Didn't really have like memorable characters. In the Season 1, you had the guy with the katana. You know, he was very memorable. And even the leader in season 1, the leader of that mansion, you know, that the beach house, you know, he was kind of memorable. But in season 2, you didn't really have any of those type of characters, unless you count like the newest character, who only had the teenage girl who only had one leg. I guess she was kind of memorable, and she was kind of cool, but nothing compares to really season 1. And so that way, like the new characters, and the games kind of go downhill from season 1, but it's still a very good show. I did like that we got to see our heroes back together, you know, and there is the part where they get separated. So about episode 7, when they all get back together, is like a cool moment. But out of the whole season 7 is definitely the one that's the most impactful, as we see our group of characters going back to fight, you know, the main boss, the hardest guy, the Jack of Spades. You know, they're all teaming up, and you get some tragic moments in that episode. So episode 8 compared to episode 7 is kind of like a letdown. However, the series still finishes as strong, and like I said, they do a great job of wrapping up everything. So they tie everything together in the end. So I don't think there will be a season 3. I don't really know much about the manga, so I don't know if the manga ends where the series ends or not. But I mean, as it ends right now, they don't really need to add any more seasons unless they want to bring in new characters and such. So if I had to say anything bad about season 2, would say, yeah, you didn't really have any of those memorable new characters, but you did get to see, you know, your old favorites come in, and they do shine. They do a great job of adding on to their characters, and you do get to meet, you get to meet the new bosses, but none of the new villains are really memorable. You know, they kind of try to do like a shock value with the first one with the band group, because the leader of that group doesn't wear any clothes. You know, he's just going out there in the buff, out there kicking rear end in his birthday suit, but you don't really see anything. All the shots are from waist up, kind of thing. I think you might have a couple waist down, for those kind of people who like that kind of stuff. But besides him, there's not really any new memorable characters. Like I said, the Jack of Spades is the toughest one, but you don't really, out of all the new bosses that they show, they don't really develop anything with him. You get a little insight on his past, but you don't really get to know any of his motives. Just that he's going around, you know, his game is that he likes to kind of just go around shooting people, really. But yeah, even though the games are a little inferior, no new exciting characters to really remember. Season 2 still delivers the goods. It's still enjoyable to watch. It's might be just a little worse than the first season, but it's still a really great season to watch, and you'll enjoy it. And all the questions you have will be answered, especially the big questions. You know, why they're there, what exactly going on. You get all your answers, which is something I really enjoy. It's not really left up to your imagination. You know, what if this? I guess if you want to see, I guess the only thing that's really left open is the characters' endings. You know, how are they still going to interact with each other after the events and stuff like that? Are they still going to be like a core group? That's kind of open up for interpretation there at the end. But everything else is answered. So if you're new to this channel and you never watched any of these reviews before, which probably 99.9% of you haven't, we only have a 3 grade scale. One is don't recommend at all. One is recommend, and then highly recommend. You know, highly recommend is kind of like 80% and above of the audience will think will like this. Recommend, it's like, you know, it's just there in the middle. And not recommend at all is for those of you who like bad movies and bad shows. You would like it. With this one, I'm going to highly recommend. If you enjoy season 1, you're definitely going to enjoy season 2. If you enjoy these type of shows where it's kind of survival and they play games and stuff, this is definitely a good watch. Like I said, it does take a little step down from not as good as season 1, but it's still an excellent show. And you'll go right through these. You probably sit down and try to get them all through tongue twisted. You probably sit down and try to get them all watched in one day if you have the time. It's definitely binge worthy. You won't have any trouble getting through these shows. You won't think one show's too boring. All of them are great to capture your attention and they want you to watch more. So I definitely highly recommend this one. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you if you're still hanging around for listening to me to rambling on. And until the next video, adios.